welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio this morning. We will talk about a couple of Lane Kiffin's comments to media yesterday. We've got a couple other things on tap. We'll try to make it through this next hour for you. Here on the show is brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. A little news coming from them tomorrow. They're going to do some couple of pretty good things for the community. Some more details there. You can look out for that. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow morning as well. But in the meantime, you can use Blue Sky location to fill up your vehicle. Still need fuel. Still trying to get around for essential things with the world we're in right now, as well as using the drive-thru at the Oxford Crystal. Take advantage of the drive-thru there on Highway 6 West. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. The number is 662-257-1900. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove that to you when you make the call. They're open for service, and they also have at least part of their sales crew available as well. So if you're in the market for a vehicle, now's probably a pretty good time to be looking. And you can get it all done really right to the very end with no human interaction, which is good for most people most of the time, good for everybody these days. So 662-257-1900. Guests, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Again, we'll have some Rafters news to you here pretty soon. Just remember them when this is finally over and you get back out and about in Oxford, home of the Bluegrass Brunch on Sundays, 10:45, chicken and waffles, fresh biscuits, mimosas, Bloody Marys, and more. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford.
So, again, Lane talked to media yesterday, and for the most part, they're in a holding pattern. They can't do much. They don't know when anything is going to change, and that is where we're sitting right now. I know that's not anything that anybody necessarily wants to hear, and it's not necessarily bad or good or anything. Tom Hart did make a hell of a point yesterday about how just being around your guys, not really the lack of spring practice per se, but depending on what happens in the fall from a scheduling standpoint. I mean, when you've got new systems and just new players, it is such a much of a bigger deal. You are behind the curve a little bit compared to other programs, because Kiffin said yesterday that at FAU it wouldn't be a big deal at all. Knew his guys, knew what he had. You just kind of pick it up, and there's a continuation more than anything else. But at Ole Miss, Lane's been very true and very careful on how he's answered so many questions about, hey, quarterback competitions or depth charts or, hey, what do you have? And the answer every time is, I don't know, because I haven't seen them with my own eyes on a practice field, on a game field.
Despite that, people continue to ask the stupid question. My God.
He's not going to have an answer until he coaches them, until he sees how they can be coached. There's
He's
so
answered
many different things there. And that's the point, is when you don't know when that is going to start, you don't know when that is going to be, yeah, there's potentially a behind-the-curve element for all new coaches, but for Lane at Ole Miss right now.
I get that everybody has stories they have to work on. I get it. I used to work in newspapers. I understand. There is no depth chart. He's answered that. They don't have one. New systems, new coaches. They're going to coach in different ways. Different players might respond to it better, worse. They don't know. They'll see. I thought his comments, he continues to impress me with his intellect, his ability to think, his ability to speak honestly and candidly, where he admits that the thought of spring practice at this point is probably naive, where he admits that they're going to have to revisit some different ideas as an industry, and that there's a chance that it's going to be a while before they have contact with the players. Could be months, because frankly it's going to be months. And he talked about how maybe they have to do an NFL-style OTA type thing. For those who don't follow the NFL, they have mini camps kind of throughout the year. Oftentimes it's completely without pads. They're all without pads. Sometimes they don't even wear helmets. Mm-hmm. It's just learning. It's mental. He was saying maybe that's what they'll have to do, to install some things and do some things, but that they'll absolutely be behind. And then he was one of those that was honest enough to use the word if a few times. There's an if. I know everybody says don't do this, man. You're don't say this because it's you guys would be really impacted. Yeah, I get it. I mean, it keeps me up at night. I woke up middle of the night thinking about it and didn't go back to sleep for a couple hours. There's no certainty that there's a football season.
I guess the point, though, is if there's not, none of this matters anyway.
Right.
So what difference does
Right.
it make?
That's why I don't understand why people go, well, what do you think about your quarterbacks? Hell. That's so far down the list right now.
You operate as though everything starts on time, and you adjust as you can,
Right.
given your limitations that you have. That is what you can do as a coach.
You assume that you'll have a season opener in September until you're told that you're not, but you can't plan your summer right now. There's no way to plan it. Normally you'd say, hey, everybody's going to come back that Tuesday after Memorial Day. We start our off season, blah, blah, blah. You don't know that now. Now you just have to be ready to adjust when someone gives you a starting point. It's much like Major League Baseball right now. I was reading Ken Rosenthal's column this morning. I talked to Ben Ingram yesterday. You'll hear that on a beer garden hopefully here pretty soon. It's really interesting. He talked about Rosenthal talked about how in baseball there's just no way to make a plan right now. He gets the question, when are they going to start? No one knows. They're having significant discussions, and Rosenthal wrote about this. It's there's the players and the owners. What happens in a lost season? What does that mean for service time? What does that mean for contracts? What does that mean for impending free agents? What does that mean for a Mookie Betts? What does that mean for a Trevor Bauer? What does that mean for those guys? No one knows those answers. The fact that they're having those conversations and they're having them in earnest should tell you a lot about what smart people think. And smart people think if you can't start the season by around the 4th of July, you're not going to be able to start the season. And to start the season by the 4th of July, you're going to have to, no later than the second week of June, be able to reconvene and get guys into shape. And that sounds like a long way away right now, but it's really not. And so when people talk about what's going to happen, the truth is right now, just no one knows. Major League Baseball, I think they've talked about playing an entire season with no fans. And I think both sides, ownership and the players, don't have the stomach for that. They don't have the appetite for that. That's not realistic. One of the questions that I think college football is going to have is, if this thing's not gone, was it Singapore where they've had a second wave of it? What happens in the fall if another wave comes about? Do you play college football games without fans? Which, frankly, on the surface sounds ludicrous. To me, you might disagree. To me, that seems silly. The whole thing, it's all about fans. It's all about the fan experience. If you eliminate the fans.
Well, for colleges, it's all about the TV contracts. Let's keep it business real here. There's a money element here that, while it's ludicrous and so different, it's about the TV contracts.
It is. They have to determine what happens. Do you have the testing in place to test every college football player when they report to campus? At Ole Miss, for an absolute fact that it's impacted the program. One player's in quarantine right now because both of his parents are positive. I don't know whether there's others. There could very easily be others. I don't know.
And Eli told Ross Dellinger he expects that he has it, but he does not fit the testing criteria.
So, how much exposure did Eli have to some of his teammates? I don't know. I have no idea. Eli lives here in Oxford. Some of the other players are here in Oxford or were here in Oxford. I don't know how much of that. My anticipation, and this is semi-informed, is that before anybody starts full-blown camp, they're going to get tested. And right now, I don't know, do we have the testing in place to test football programs? Because you're talking about, we did this on G-Pits. This is 180 people in a program. Got to test them all because they're all in that building.
Yeah, it's the 105 all the way down to the managers, everybody, whole deal.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I get the whole you're being cynical, you're being skeptical. I'm really not. I'm talking to people, and there's no anyone who says, "Oh, there's just definitely going to be a season," it's absolutely they're making that. It's like Rosenthal wrote that. Anyone who speaks in definites, you should discard them right now.
Well, and frankly, it's, as I sit in the mornings and try to figure out exactly what to do on the show, it's a lot of trying to figure out the give and take, the tone, if you will, because we go through news, we tell you kind of what we're hearing, we do all that, while at the same time I fully realize we can't sit here and beat you over the head with a hammer for 55 minutes. So it's like, it's a very complicated deal.
I'm never going to be a spin guy. I'm going to tell people what I hear, and if you listen to the Beer Garden today, you'll hear it from Ben, and that tells you a lot about where baseball is. Now, baseball and college football are not interrelated, but if we can't convene until you do wonder this, here's a question.
Sure.
What's the drop dead date for programs to get kids in shape, to get kids ready to play at a college football level, to play on time before you start pushing schedules back? Before maybe you, instead of starting in the first weekend of September, you start the fourth weekend in September? How much preseason does any program, first year, 8th year, how much preseason does a college football team have to be ready to play safely?
And I don't know the answer to that, because what our normal schedule dictates is they have all summer to be in better shape.
Right.
So I don't.
Right.
I don't know.
And Kiffin said yesterday that they give them workouts, but they're not required to do them, and they're not required to report back. There is no instruction right now. Football's on the back burner, as it should be today. But at some point, if we get to a place where people say, okay, it's safe to play these games, how much lead-up time do they have to have when they didn't have spring and they didn't have a spring off-season? And look, I'm a guy that I go to the gym. I can't go to the gym right now. And I realize I'm not a college athlete. I get that. But if you don't have access to the equipment, you do lose some of your shape. I can feel myself getting somewhat out of shape compared to what I was in, and I'm working out every single day. So I'm sure the athletes are having some of the same things.
Yeah, my guess is just straight guess 4 to 5 weeks, but I'm just guessing.
I'd guess the same.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
I'd guess
a good month is kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
somewhere around a month.
A full month.
Yeah.
Tom Hart was right yesterday. If we have football, and I'm going to continue to use that word, if we have football, it's going to look different initially. Because you think about it, fall camp is no longer to get guys in shape. Fall camp's to get your team ready. Yeah, they do conditioning and stuff, but they've been conditioning all summer. I don't know that's going to happen.
There's 7 to 10 days of acclimation to football shape, if you will, and that's almost more heat related than it is strength related. And then beyond that, yeah, it's mental and just I don't know.
Well, it's hotter than, like you said, hotter than hell in August here. And if guys aren't in shape, you got to be careful ratcheting that up.
Zach says in the live stream that per Greg Cassidy, the Ole Miss strength coach, said you can maintain strength for 6 to 8 weeks if you take time off, but you lose your explosiveness and quickness in the process. So
yeah,
again, smarter than me, I'll take the word for it.
Well, you have to be really careful. You have to do a lot of mental work because you're not going to be able to just cram it in physically because guys start getting injured and they can't do any work if they're injured. So, I think it's about a 6-week deal to safely be ready to play. And so 6 weeks means you've got to be able to get started at some point in July smartly. And you'll have to have medical people, which means you've got to be out of the woods on this other deal because you don't want to pull medical people away from life-pressing things to focus on football, which is not life or death. It's not that important.
That also kind of is a good point. There has to be a certain stability in each place's hospital system or just medical systems in general. Hospital systems. But look, here's the answer. We're not going to know for 4 weeks. That's the answer.
That's probably optimistic. I think.
But you're going to know what's going on. In 4 weeks, you're going to have an idea of, hey, this thing is taking off like a rocket, or, hey, there's signs here that this thing's starting to level or whatever we're doing. I think in 4 weeks we have an idea.
I might amend that to 4 to 6 weeks, but fair enough. We're probably splitting hairs.
Yeah.
1st of May, somewhere around the 1st to 10th of May, I think we'll have some clue.
I mean, at some point, well, I mean, frankly, even before that, though, Neil, I mean, if you're still testing a large number of people and the tests become more accessible, if this thing's exponential or not, we'll know way before that even. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a certain...
That's what I mean. I mean, they're going to have to ramp up the ability to mass test, because before you could start a Major League Baseball season, you've got to test everyone. Before you could resume an NBA or an NHL season, you've got to be able to test everyone.
Well, I mean, we're all going back to work around Easter, so it's fine. Well, all right.
And see, like Doors Rules 28 says I'm being a bit hyperbolic. I don't think I am. I hope I am. I've said this all along, man. I hope I'm wrong. I think the whole let's go back to work at Easter is real risky. But, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do.
Liberty going back to school this week.
Idiotic.
True or not, I don't know. I saw they had one hospital in that town with an ICU unit. Not one bed, but one hospital with a unit.
It's insane. We talked about this.
I do wonder.
Would you send your kid back?
No. Look, there's 1,000 holes in this. I'm not a scientist. I'm just talking off the top of my head because we have an hour to kill here. I do wonder a little bit if, because of putting people in different environments and exposing them to older people and a lot of stuff like that, I wonder if sending kids home from college does make it worse. Just a thought. I just wonder if that exposes and actually increases spreads in different ways that versus social isolating at where you are on a campus. Maybe I'm crazy, but I do have that at least thought in my head.
I don't know enough about it.
Does that make sense, though? Because you're sending everybody
the problem
into
is
more elderly areas and home and spreading and...
I think you could isolate an entire campus if everybody on that campus never left the campus.
Well, yeah, of course.
But kids leave the campus because they don't all live in dorms.
Yeah.
And so they go back to apartments or condos where they're neighbors and next to people. And, you know, they don't all eat on campus. They have to eat. They have to go to I don't.
But they're doing that anyway.
Huh?
They're doing that technically anyway.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying the whole let's keep classes going.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not saying that even. I'm just saying I wonder if spreading students all over the country makes it worse.
I think Falwell's an idiot.
Well, yeah, I'm not debating that.
I think he's a crook. And what he's doing now is this is ridiculous. When everybody in across the board says don't do this, and he does it, it speaks volumes about him. I would not send my kids back to that.
I'd be curious to see how many people do. And I wonder if some of his is, and I don't know this, Liberty has thousands and thousands and thousands of online students.
Yeah.
Have they just kept a normal curriculum this entire time, so they're still collecting all that tuition at 100%?
Well, I mean, I can only speak to my college experience with my daughter. She's been home for a week and a half now. There's been no refund.
Well, and technically their day didn't change. I mean, they were already online only. What's the difference?
But I mean, meals, board. I'm paying for her to stay in a dorm that she's been kicked out of.
I get. I'm at Liberty.
Yeah, I don't know.
Literally, they have thousands of only online students.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but, you know, they're telling 5,000 plus kids to come back.
Yeah. Like, I think counting all students, Liberty is actually one of the largest universities in the country. I mean, look this up real quick. I think I'm right here. I saw this at some point during the first month of Hugh Freeze when I was looking it up at a bar one night. Yeah, per Wikipedia, so again, take that for what you will. Liberty, 15,000 on-campus students, 95,000 online students.
Good God.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was pretty sure I was right there with how they were doing things.
Just don't understand the strategy there.
Money, 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 money without actually having resources on your campus.
Just
diploma mill.
No, I mean bringing kids back to campus.
We're trying to debate that one and figure that one's out. It's a whole nother conversation. So
we're at this point. I mean, obviously, the thing to do across the board is to at a minimum, finish the semester online with hopes that in June, kids can go back to campuses for summer school and it be somewhat normal. But the hope for all of these schools, and I know this for a fact, The hope for all of these schools is that in August, they can enroll as normal, that we're past it.
Yeah. Continue our conversation in 1 second. Tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. We're also brought to you by the Iron Horse Grill. It's at 320 East Pearl Street in Jackson. Remember that for when this is all over. But for now, also remember that they specialize in on-site large event catering for up to 250 people and off-site full catering services, especially beverage catering. So if you're planning a birthday party, a graduation celebration, a rehearsal dinner, or a wedding reception, you want to be able to enjoy the moment, the Iron Horse Grill is your answer. It's a one-stop shop for beverage services for a 250 to 500-person wedding or even a 3,500-person gala. The Iron Horse Grill is one of the largest beverage caterers in Mississippi. It can service the entire state. Call Sarah Black at 601-398-0151 for your catering needs and knock that off your worry list and let the Iron Horse Grill make your event one that is memorable forever. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine seeing something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing available at corinthdental.com. And we're brought to you by Dead Soxy. Don't forget that Dead Soxy has a promo at checkout, deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code RebelGrove at checkout to receive 30% off all orders. We'll have some more information on a really cool offer coming your way from Dead Soxy here in the next couple of days. So stay safe and stay soxy with Dead Soxy.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Go to their page, and they have a link at the very top to see how to handle things with COVID-19 as far as restaurants, what's open, what offers delivery, what offers takeout, all things you can do from that standpoint. They have plenty of links that will help you out right now during this time frame. And then we all hope they are correct, and this goes off without a hitch. They've rescheduled Double Decker again for the middle of August 14th and 15th. That's actually, I think, move-in weekend for Ole Miss, if I have that right. So
it is.
That is when that is. So we'll bring more to you during these podcasts. Also, they have a Visit Oxford virtually during COVID-19 link in the middle of the page, too, as I'm there right now and looking at it. I don't know the exact day. I actually have to pick one. There's a couple different options, but I will say this. Neil will be pleased. Just got a confirmation that author Harlan Coben is doing our podcast.
Oh, wow.
So his publicist just wrote me a second ago, said that he's happy to do it. Just pick a couple dates, and we'll make it work. So
that's cool.
Yeah. My favorite author, somebody I've read for 10 years. He is the creator of several Netflix series going on right now, The Stranger, Safe, The Five. He followed me on Twitter like a year ago. I mentioned it on this podcast when he did it, and I thought, whatever, we'll send a text and see where it goes. And sure enough, got that done. So I got to write him back here today. But nonetheless, I think we're gonna get that to you here in the next week or so.
Easily one of my favorite authors.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Has a lot of really, really good stuff. If you would like to get started on something, again, watch the Netflix series. Although don't watch The Stranger because the book is really good, so do that. And if you're starting with a book, do the Myron Bollitter series first. Deal Breaker is the first book in that, so that's where we are. A lot of books. 20, 30, a lot of books.
Yeah,
felt the need.
More books than you can keep up with.
Yeah. It would take you a little. If you wanted to do quarantine and read Harlan Coben, you probably would. We would be out of quarantine before you're done, unless you're a really big reader. So that's kind of where that is right now. But anyway, The Athletic doing something pretty cool. The Athletic doing essentially an online Hall of Fame in each of their markets, picking people. It's good filler. It's good conversation topic. Frankly, it's pretty smart. The couple southern states or places that I've seen them doing so far, I'll run through who they picked real quick because we don't have much else to talk about, so it's fine. We'll start with New Orleans. or Louisiana, I guess is more the way to put it. I think it's New Orleans. Maybe it's New Orleans. I don't know. Neal's home state. Let's see who they got. A couple of these are very, very obvious. I think most places pick 20 per area, if I have it right.
Is it the city or the state?
It says the city, but it's not just the city, I don't think. I think there's a couple other factors in this, but mostly it's the city. So, okay. First ballot Hall of Famers, Drew Brees, Pete Maravich. They're picking him because he played for the New Orleans Jazz, but obviously at LSU is a legend as well, so it counts. Dave Dixon, the sports executive who brought the Superdome and the Saints, really the main guy for both of those things.
Okay.
He's on the list. Joe Burrow coming in at number 4 already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, potentially the best quarterback season in college football history. You can make the argument.
Way up there.
Simone Augustus, forward, Baton Rouge Capital High School, played at LSU, really championed the women's basketball game for a long time, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, Wade Trophy, Naismith Award, Wooden Award, all that kind of stuff. So Simone Augustus there. Those are your first ballot Hall of Famers. And then
So it must just be New Orleans because I would have put Terry Bradshaw on that list.
That's a good point. Yeah. And he's not on this at all.
No. I would have put Bradshaw easily as a first ballot.
Other enshrinees, Tom and Gail Benson, Sean Payton, J.T. Curtis, the head coach of John Curtis High School.
Okay.
He inherited his father's team in 1969 at the age of 22 and went 0-10 in his first season. In the 50 years since then, his teams have gone 595, 56, and 6 and won 27 state championships.
Yep.
That's
I always wanted to play them.
Did you really? Just for the heck of it?
No.
Because they're 2A private.
We would have beaten them. That's why I wanted to play them.
You would have felt good about winning that.
Yeah, it would have been because they would always talk that trash about where they're the best program in the state, and I'd be like, no, you're not. We'd kick your ass.
Archie Manning in it. Skip Burtman in it. So we're counting LSU here too, which is what's weird.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Skip Burtman on this list, which I do wonder if you're knocked down a peg if you're not New Orleans, because Skip Burtman should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
That's what's weird about that a little bit. Billy Cannon, God bless everybody. It's kind of a fill-in here. The entire Saints linebacker unit that put them on the map in the late '80s, early '90s. Ricky Jackson, Pat Swilling, Sam Mills, Vaughn Johnson, the Dome Patrol. Bob Pettit, Baton Rouge High School, LSU. Both of those. Chris Paul makes the list, being the first Hornets kind of person.
Okay.
Yeah, that's flimsy. We're getting a little flimsy.
I mean, if Chris Paul makes it, Anthony Davis has to make it. I'm going to guess Anthony Davis isn't on that list.
Nope. Nick Saban is on this list. Okay. Shaquille O'Neal is on this list.
Sure.
Mickey Patterson, a sprinter from Gilbert Academy and Southern University, is on this list.
Is Chris Jackson on the list?
I don't think so. Dede Bro, head coach OSU Gymnastics, is on the list. I don't know. Sure.
Okay.
15 individual national titles, some Super 6 appearances. Okay. Mel Ott is on this list.
Okay.
What is his connection?
Mel Ott?
Yeah.
He's from Louisiana. Is Ron Guidry on the list?
No. He might be on my honorable mention list, but he's not one of the 20 that made it.
Okay.
Let's see. Mel Ott was discovered while playing for a lumber company team in Patterson, Louisiana, shortly after high school. He's from Gretna.
Okay.
And then a coach at Southern University, Arnett Ace Mumford. I don't know. He was the king of HBCU football prior to Eddie Robinson, essentially.
That was my next question. So Eddie Robinson's not on the list.
No.
So it's a South Louisiana list.
Honorable mentions. Just look for anything that's the other Manning or the Manning sons are on the list. Eli Payton, Avery Johnson, Lolo Jones, Sylvia Fowles, Leonard Fournette, Matt Forte, Reggie Bush is on the list. Morton Anderson. Again, I'm just
as a North Louisianian, I'm catching myself somewhat offended. I mean, if you're going to include Baton Rouge, I'd include the rest of the state. Baton Rouge is not like next door to New Orleans.
So you feel like they got a little carried away, a little weird with their list.
Yeah,
here.
I think they went a little too. Yeah, I don't like their
methodology is not.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Ron Guidry is from Lafayette.
They're trying to call it the New Orleans sports area, so they extended the market reach to include Baton Rouge and Southern University,
but not Lafayette.
No,
it's weird. Yeah, I mean, I got issues.
Sorry,
be all right.
The other one that has seen Atlanta has done theirs as well.
Okay.
The main room, which I'm assuming is first ballot, they can call them whatever they want to call it. Leading off the list, one Hank Aaron, no surprise there.
Sure.
Herschel Walker comes in at number 2.
So this is Atlanta, including Athens.
Let's see. Well, where's Wrightsville? That's where he's from. Where is that?
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay. I'm sure somebody in Georgia in our stream can tell us. Bobby Jones is on the list. Not a shocker at all. Dominique Wilkins makes the list.
Sure.
Chipper Jones, first ballot, makes the list.
Dale Murphy.
And then the other honorees, John Heisman. Do I need a safe space? Greg Maddox on the list. Bobby Cox, Evander Holyfield, Phil Necro.
So Evander Holyfield didn't make the first list?
Nope. Who you replacing, though? You only get 5.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
You got to think about it. John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Teresa Edwards, Edwin Moses. Uga makes the list. The dog.
Which one? All of the Uggas?
I guess just all of them.
Because most of them only live about 6 weeks.
It's got to be the one that wore a tux to the Heisman ceremony with Herschel.
Yeah.
If we're gonna put one in, that's the one I want in.
Give me that Ugga.
I mean, he was kind of the OG here. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've got some issues in that breed line as time has gone on, but we had one there. Julio Jones counts. It says that unless you count Ugga 10, Jones is the only one on this list still performing. Likely a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. Tommy Nobis, who is that?
I don't know who that is.
He's not in the Football Hall of Fame. Let's see. NFL linebacker is who he is. Deion Sanders makes the list.
Yeah.
Dale Murphy makes the list.
I would hope so.
Vince Dooley makes the list.
Yeah.
They actually included too many people. They actually got 25 on this list. Skip Carey and Pete Van Wieren make the list.
Yeah, you see that.
They also throw in kind of a media area there. Larry Munson, Furman Bisher, just some people kind of in some other things. Calvin Johnson on the list, Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Have no problem there. And then Claude Humphrey is on the list.
I don't know who that is.
NFL player.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Wrightsville is 2 hours from Atlanta. It's east of Macon.
So they're pulling it in just a touch.
They're using he played at Georgia. So they're doing the same thing. It just feels selective as hell. Like, why not the coach from Georgia Southern that was he's there forever. What was his name? The bald-headed guy, Irk Russell. Wasn't that his name? He was there for 50 years.
So he should be on there?
I don't know. I can tell you what, the Louisiana one should have Eddie Robinson on it.
Should he?
Yeah, of course. Won a bunch of games at Grambling. He was there forever. His story's really cool.
I give the Athletic credit. They're in such a important place in their company right now that this can't mean obviously bad time for everybody. Keep it in perspective here, but trying anything to keep some attention up as they get through this thing. I mean, it's
I'm sure they're stressed out about the same things we're stressed out about.
They are doing some good work though. I'm just kind of reading through the stuff. Joe Poznansky is doing a baseball 100 with, I'm assuming, the top 100 baseball players of all time. Is my
one
assumption.
of the best sports writers in the world.
He is.
He's excellent.
It's all I remember about my trip to Columbia in 06. I sat next to him. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really get it. I don't understand how that seating arrangement worked, but somehow the visiting student sports editor sat next to Joe Poznansky that day.
Maybe it was so that you could have a highlight.
I guess he was doing something with he was at Kansas City at the time.
Uh-huh.
Would that have been right?
Yeah. He was a columnist at the Kansas City Star or whatever forever.
He was just merciless on Eddie O and that Ole Miss group that day. I can remember just the little one-liners and the snark and the sarcasm and everything else coming that day, because that was that 11 a.m. game that Missouri won 42-7 or something. Patrick Willis had 1,000 tackles, but that was about it.
I saw some of that. I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and I went to a bar and that game was on, and it was ugly.
You were at a bar in Cleveland, Ohio?
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss that?
I had Saints Browns the next day, and so I flew into Cleveland early on a Saturday because that was the cheaper flight, and had all day long to kill in Cleveland. So I went to a bar, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, went back to a bar, like the Leaping Lizard or something like that. It was huge, huge bar.
Cleveland is a town that I'm trying to think. I'm not sure I've ever been there. I don't think I've ever been in Cleveland.
I've been 3 times. Been for the NCAA tournament.
No, you went to Cincinnati recently. Okay, I was thinking Cleveland. You went to Cincinnati.
Went to Saints Browns, covered Saints Browns, and it seems like I've been there another time too. I know. I've been there 3 times. It's okay. It's cold in March. I can tell you that. It was really nice in September. It was cold in March. They played at Cleveland. I was covering Alabama, and they were in the NCAA tournament. They played against Bruce Pearl's team. He was at Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And had to walk from the hotel to Cleveland State. It was cold. Stopped by the Indian Stadium. If I'd known that day that, hey, man, the greatest game in history is going to get played at this stadium, I would have spent more time checking it out.
How many times have you watched some semblance of the 2016 baseball season at this point?
I watched MLB had games 5, 6, and 7 of the World Series on yesterday, and I had it on. Watched the whole thing. I wasn't glued to it. I was doing other work, but I had it on. At Game 7 still, man, Carson and I were talking about it. At Game 7, there's still some moments in that game that
you know the ending and you're still nervous.
Still a little angst, yeah. That Jason Kipnis swing in the bottom of the 9th. Woo.
A second of, oh, my God, a little
Well,
there.
The camera angle was such that you thought he'd gotten it. He really had fouled it off. I think it was 40, 50 feet foul, but there was a camera angle for about 1 second that looks like, oh, shit, he hit a home run. And I remember I was drunk.
I remember I knew to leave you alone, but I seem to recall maybe it was the rain delay or something, just kind of sort of like the check-in thing a little bit. And it was at that point it was transitioning to, yeah, I'm a fan with Game 7, but I'm kind of a dad right now.
Yeah.
I got to figure this out a little bit. I got to keep some function about me at the moment.
Well, the Rajai Davis home run was
first pitch we just saw, Cubs home run. We turned it on.
The Rajai Davis home run was a bad moment.
That was the low point.
Oof. That was Carson just lost it. And that's when I had to just put it away.
Okay.
And in the rain delay, I switched over to, this is the end of Game 6. The rain delay, I switched over and watched the end of a Thunder Clippers game just to take my mind off of it because I thought it was going to be like an hour or something. And I saw a tweet that they were getting ready to start back. And I just remember thinking, man, if this goes till 3 or 4 in the morning, I'm not going to make it because I'd had way too much. I'd pretty much had an entire bottle of Baker's. And I had so much adrenaline going that when the adrenaline started to wear off, I realized, oh, I'm drunk.
You were so hungover the next morning in with Ross.
I know.
Because we had a meeting with Ross at like 8:30 in the morning, and he calls me and he goes, I might still be drunk. Come pick me up. So I come pick him up. And we get in the meeting and like it's whatever, and we're just talking, and then we have about 30 minutes where we're kind of getting serious and kind of whatever, and like I mean it's a pretty important conversation given what we were dealing with at the time. You can recall what might have been happening then, and I look over and I'm like, okay, let's get some faculties here. Let's get. Ross is like, hey, you need some water? Yes,
Yeah,
some water would be good.
Started sweating out of the blue. That was a weird day.
There's so many things about that meeting that make me laugh now.
Well, because I had no filter at all at that point.
Well, no, there's again. I know it's been years. Get me on a hand raise, guys. I might tell you more of the story, but there's one moment where we said one thing, and then immediately everybody like grabbed computers and like started Googling things, and it's like, okay, it's real now. Now we're all on the same page.
And that was the day that was the moment where I'm like, oh, come on, that was not the first time you heard that. I look back on how that meeting would have been different if the Cubs had lost the night before. Probably a good thing the
yeah.
Cubs won, because I was in a really good mood.
Sammy in the live stream says, longest baseball game you've ever personally attended. Ole Miss State, 17 innings. I've never seen anything longer than that.
Went to a major league game that included a rain delay that went 19 innings. I think it was in Atlanta, Cubs Braves, back in – I was in college. Deion Sanders was playing for the Braves. Can't remember when it was. 18 innings, 17 innings, I don't know. Long game.
The good thing about not being a media member is you can just leave.
Yeah.
There's a certain appreciation to, hey, I'm done. I've seen enough.
Yeah, I've seen enough. I'm leaving.
Funny thing about that 17-inning game, State ended up winning. I think they scored 3 in the 17th and won 4-1. Cody Satterwhite threw 9 scoreless relief innings, best outing of his career, and it was for naught in a 17-inning game. But
this is the moment, looking back on this.
He has the game up.
Aroldis Chapman is still pitching in the 9th inning of a 9-2 game with a Game 7 the next night.
Why?
Because he didn't have anybody up ready just in case. And when Rizzo hit that home run to take it from 7-2 to 9-2, the Cubs had no bullpen that year.
But even at 7-2,
I know.
It's 5 runs.
I know. It's crazy. And that, and Chapman was not sharp the next night. And Joe Madden gets bailed out. Joe Madden should forever, if there's not a giant poster of Ben Zobrist in Joe Madden's house, it's wrong.
Speaking of the Indians, speaking of Joe Madden or whatever, recording a Bourbon South tomorrow with Mickey Callaway. So
oh, yeah?
Up in a week or
That'd be good.
Yeah, we're watching the game here as we talk. Sorry, this is where we are. All right, take a break. Tell you about Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. The big thing with G&M right now, they deliver locally in the Oxford area. They'll take care of you. Pharmacies are still open, but they will bring it to you in the area. So 662-236-2222. Then on the square with Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs.
Podcast also brought to you by Nest & Wild. Sleep better with the Nest & Wild mattress. It's a Mississippi-based mattress company making a high-quality mattress delivered right to your door. They make buying a new mattress easy. Every Nest & Wild is 1 foot thick, giving you comfort support that will last. It's from the twins to the California King, everyone, 1 foot thick, 100% American-made, and we'll give you a podcast discount that's going to make it even better. All you got to do is go to nestandwild.com. Enter the promo code REBEL20. That's REBEL20. Get 20% off your purchase. It's a no-risk decision, by the way. Nest & Wild believes in their product so much. They're offering a 99-night trial on every mattress. So try it out. Sleep on it for 99 nights. And if you don't like it, it's cool. You can return it. Nestandwild.com. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Taping a Mind on My Money, I think, this afternoon. That podcast is sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. It's pintrust.com, P-I-N-N trust.com. This crazy time in our nation's history, you really need someone looking over your finances, making sure that you are investing properly, making sure that you're taking care of your retirement. And Pinnacle Trust is great at that. They'll take care of you with a plan that's just for you. Pintrust.com. Mention that you heard about them on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fee. I've got a mailbag up at rebelgrove.com. And it is brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Westin Jackson, home to Soul Spa. Also home to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. If you are traveling in Jackson, doing business in Jackson, or down the road, if you, when this is all over, you just need a place to recharge your batteries and enjoy getting out, the Westin Jackson would be an ideal place. Lots of places around it, and you could just hang right there in the hotel and enjoy yourself. It's the Westin Jackson, downtown Jackson's Marriott property. We're also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If when this is over, you're going to want a vacation. You're going to want to get away. And I would suggest that you get in touch with John, give him some ideas, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and then sit back and let him come up with some options that will be just for you, options that will make a trip one that will create a lifetime of unique memories. What you do is you call 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast is brought to you by In-House Interior and Design. You can give them a call or a text at 662-681-6241. You can talk about options, things they can do right now given the current environment and more. Again, everybody's at home. You're probably noticing some things around the house that maybe could be improved, could be taken care of, and they can help you out with anything with over 30 years combined experience between Nikki and Ashley. And they have plenty of options. 662-681-6241 for call or text. Let's see. Where was I with our... I'm getting distracted by your baseball game. I know who wins, so it's... Is this live, or do you have this stopped and on DVR or something?
No,
it's actually what's on.
This
right
is
now.
what they've been showing. MLB Network's been just showing games.
I mean, what else are they going to show?
No.
I mean...
Can you imagine? What do you do? You do wonder, what happens...
That's why what the SEC Network's doing right now is, hey, every team, every school, just get a day. That gives us 2 weeks to try to figure this out.
I know.
Y'all go 24 hours for 2 weeks, and then we'll see where we are.
We'll show whatever you want us to show, and y'all can market it and whatever, and we'll everybody's doing that. I mean, because these people at MLB Network are like, what do you want us to talk about? It was funny, and when you listen to the Beer Garden, you'll hear this. He was saying, they're doing a show on 680 The Fan every night because people want to hear their voices. It's like there's no baseball to talk about. There's no start date. We don't know. No idea. No one knows. So they're talking about the Tiger King, which I started last night. Wow, that is bizarre. Whoa.
Yeah. We'll get a little more into it before we discuss, but yeah, it's...
Wow. Just episode 1, which is, I know they're just setting up the story. Is crazy.
It's a little too long. It goes on and on and on a little bit, but it's
some weird people out there, man.
Speaking of that, it's a decent transition. So yesterday, not much going on. Carly Ann's birthday. The only thing I could think of that would allow some social distancing and still let her kind of have something. We went to that safari park in Como yesterday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
You aware this exists?
I've heard about it, I think.
It's not bad. It's fine. They've got a little petting area with some goats and a lemur and some stuff, and it's fine. And then you drive through, and it's got ostriches and zebras and llamas and camels and stuff.
In Como, Mississippi.
How
about that?
It's fine. Are ostriches mean? Do they have poor dispositions? Because everything else, like the llamas, the donkeys, whatever else, would come essentially stick their head in your car window. You feed them out of your hand.
Oh.
It's up close and personal. All good. But they warn you when you're going in, hey, the ostriches, don't hand feed them, hold the bag out, and they'll go into the bag. And when I say highly aggressive, to the point that Carly Ann kind of got scared by them, and she loves animals. Scared is not typically an emotion. She would pick up a snake and put it around her neck.
Ooh.
The ostrich, though, basically took the bag out of my hand, and if you had the windows up when he came by, the ostriches would try to peck the window.
Oh.
Or even put their head up and try to peck at the sunroof.
That's not good.
Yeah, they were kind of aggressive. I didn't know if that was a thing.
I would have left the ostrich area.
Well, they're kind of spread throughout the property. You see some ostriches, and then you go a little farther, and you see more ostriches, and on and on and on and on. But
I'm not an ostrich expert.
Yeah, they were highly aggressive. Neil is kind of keeping an eye on the game. He's just checking, just making sure they still win, make sure nothing crazy happened here.
Tomorrow's supposed to be opening day. I'm just going to let everybody know tomorrow's going to be a little down day for me.
Tomorrow?
Probably the way y'all felt when Ole Miss baseball got canceled. Probably how tomorrow's probably going to feel for me a little bit.
It is a weird deal when I look back on that. The last game that I was at or covered, and for however long, was that Princeton Sunday blowout where you get done. And in the second inning, you're going, God, just end this. I'm so tired of watching this game. And then it ends, and that day, you I guess there was a feeling that, hey, something might happen at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody realized exactly how quickly things were changing at that point.
I remember the day of that ULM game, the getaway day.
That was the day where
I knew thinking, because we've been talking about that LSU series, and I told you that series ain't going to happen.
Well, that's what I called Keith Carter. It was Tuesday or Wednesday, and basically was like, hey, what's up? And that day it was, well, we got 3 options. We can play as scheduled, be really cautious, hand sanitizer, all that stuff. We can go no fans, or we can kill it. And I was like, well, where are we at? And he goes, we're okay right now, whatever. Anyway, at that point he was like, nobody's lying. It just moved quickly.
And then Rudy Gobert happened.
Yeah, and then the next morning it was, let's. Actually, no, it was even that night. That night, I got a couple texts from people going, "Hey, no, we're moving fast here. There's something going on." And then it went quickly, because I talked to a couple national writers, and I'm like, "What are you hearing? Like, this thing about to get canned?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, you need to go. You need to call somebody. That's what I'm telling you. You need to call somebody." It is, and I know it's an optimism thing. Like I get it, and it's whatever, and I get like not knowing certain teams. It is. And I'm not somebody certain person here, because I talked to 4 or 5, 6. I mean, you couldn't completely narrow it down. It's amazing the number of like big picture items that national people get wrong or don't want to accept or talk about.
Sure.
To the last minute, it's going no, and then it's like, okay.
That's why I paid such attention to Rosenthal this morning. I mean, Ken Rosenthal makes his career writing about baseball. If there's no season, he doesn't have anything to write about other than labor, which is boring.
Yeah, I mean, you're not
getting your
the click monster's not coming on that one.
No, I mean, because people don't want to talk about that, obviously. So, yeah, you had to pay attention. I remember I think we'll talk. Andy Kennedy and I were having this conversation. He was talking about that Wednesday night. He was wrapped up in the 2 games he was covering. He did the Ole Miss Georgia game. And then the commissioner between games said, "Hey, we're closing the tournament to fans." But he's like, I had another game to call. And so he called Arkansas, and who'd they play? Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And he's like, when that game's over, he goes back to the hotel and goes to have a drink with a couple of the guys that are on that production team or whatnot. And he said he could tell, boy, this is moving. This is not good. He said, but you had to get up the next day and be ready to broadcast again. And then the word came out. I remember when Rick Barnes that morning, I guess Tennessee was supposed to play the noon game. Mm-hmm. When Rick Barnes was like, "Why are we here? What are we doing?" I thought, uh-oh. And then I got a text from a national basketball guy that goes, "Watch the next 5 minutes."
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And sure enough,
you sent me a text. You're like, "Hey, it's about to be canceled." And I said, "What?" And you said, "Everything."
Everything.
Yeah, that was the answer. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Well, and I knew once that happened, I knew there's no way they're playing SEC baseball this weekend. And then, 30 minutes later or an hour later, I was in the same workout at the gym. They cancel all the spring sports. And I was like, "Does that mean including the Omaha?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's done." I was like, damn.
Talk about a serendipitous setback for cities. I saw this morning that moving the Olympics to 2021 probably costing Japan somewhere around $6 billion to do that. So if you're Istanbul or Madrid, who finished second and third, you dodge one there. Not ended up with this Olympiad. Yeah, something like $5 or $6 billion. I think that's what it was.
Backing it up a year.
Well, we got the Winter Olympics in winter 2022, so right there.
Just feels like an impossible thing to say, okay, we're going to pick it up and move it a year.
Scheduling just.
That's one of the things they were talking about with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, like there was talk about putting in a new schedule, but when you ask a computer to make a new schedule, it could do it. You could.
Sure.
The problem is, like in Milwaukee, for example, they're supposed to have the Democratic National Convention in July. That was the moment when Fowler hit the home run. That was the moment that I said, "This is not going to be a normal night. I'm not going to be able to control my emotions."
This is the first inning of Game 7?
Yeah.
Lead off?
Yeah, he led off with the home run.
I don't recall that.
Off Kluber. Yeah, because I was pretty calm all day, and then he hit the home run, and I just kind of lost it. And I remember
just settle in.
I told Laura, I'm like, "Look, here's the deal. I can go someplace, or y'all can leave, or y'all can just deal with this. This is not going to be a good night.
We got 27 outs. We got to get through this.
Yeah.
It is what it is."
Yeah. So anyway, they can't just do a schedule because people have bought tickets to games. People have booked hotel rooms. Teams have arranged travel. The schedule, if they play it, is going to be unfair. They're going to throw a bunch of doubleheaders. That's why I read that story today, Chase. When you read it, you'll see what I'm talking about. There was some tone in there that was different.
New development, not to the athlete himself, but around it. Karl Anthony Towns' mother is in an induced coma over.
Did you watch that video?
Right now. I have not yet.
It's
I've seen it on ESPN.
It's heartbreaking.
Nick Saban came out with his public service announcement yesterday. Probably the one voice in Alabama to talk some sense into some folks, probably.
Well, it's damn sure not Kay Ivey, so the governor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I might have been Alex Daniel or somebody yesterday said, yeah, the most important person in Alabama spoke, and then, hey, the governor said some stuff, too.
So Alabama fans now socially distancing. They're all doing it. Everyone.
Saban said, I think he did it from home even.
Yeah,
did
he
it
was
in his
home.
recruiting room.
Told them that the
Cecil hurt, so they just moved the pool table right out of the way.
No organized team activities.
He was wearing some makeup or something. He had kind of a gloss
going
on his.
Mama, we're gonna have to stay home now, Mama. We can't go out. Coach Saban said we got to stay in to help the Tide.
I would have messed that up because I knew you were going on an impersonation, and I thought you were going to say Nick, but it's not always Coach Saban.
Coach Saban.
Not Nick.
No, not Nick. Coach Saban.
It'd be Reverend for it to be Nick.
Yes, sir.
He hadn't lost cachet of the ability not be unable to beat Clemson?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
But now,
it could come.
Won't be long before it's going to be time to bring Dabo home.
Oh. That's a good point.
Going to bring him home.
It's a question on our message board. Who had the worst PR day yesterday, Ole Miss or the NCAA?
The NCAA.
Yeah,
Ole Miss's was accidental.
It was accidental.
It was terrible timing, but
for those who've been under a rock, Ole Miss sent out a university, just an automated email yesterday, basically saying, hey, just think about estate planning and if you want to throw us in your will, essentially.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was so bad that I knew it was an accident.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like,
somebody got that first text and went, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Because it probably was put in the system a month ago.
Minimum. Some quarterly or biannual deal. But as soon as that went out, you're like, "Oh my God, you can't do that." Hey, in case you die of coronavirus.
Yeah, it was a moment made for Twitter. Because immediately you had one of two things. You had the Glengarry and Ross always be closing GIF, or you just had shoot or shoot, one or the other, and that's all it was.
Yes.
The NCAA has backpedaled on Trevor Lawrence now and said that schools can be at their discretion on charities related to coronavirus.
Yes.
Well, thanks, buds.
Come on.
Because what they're going to do is go, hey, well, we're allowing it, but our process worked here. We watched it, we did what we're supposed to do, and then
ridiculous. If you're not going to let Trevor Lawrence raise money for coronavirus victims or whatnot, then what are you doing? It's probably the most recognizable college football player in the country today.
Well, he is.
I mean, you don't be stupid. Why do you think Kiffin and Leach haven't had some sort of a PSA?
I don't know. I'd do it together.
I would too.
I'd do it together.
I wonder why they haven't done that.
I don't know.
They're both probably down in Florida right now. Get somebody to shoot it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
Gus hasn't done one. Malzahn.
I haven't seen that either. No. You don't know why?
My guess is that Saban did one because people said, we're having trouble getting people to take this seriously. Would you please?
Oh, that's a certainty. I 100% think that's what happened. Although, given that data I saw yesterday, Alabama, now maybe it's a lack of testing, I don't know, had done a better job than most other southern states.
Yeah.
Per capita. I think it was Nate Silver that had the tweet, and it said.
Well, they've had a lot of the drive-through stuff
have they?
Now for a week or so. Yeah.
Okay. Take a break in the show to tell you about a special orthopedic group. They're still open. They're doing their Tupelo and Oxford locations. They are protecting the best that they can, and they're doing not doing any they're not doing any elective procedures from a surgery standpoint, but you can still make appointments. You can still go in and see them. You can get some things accomplished if that is needed during this time period. They just ask you to please make an appointment. That's the big thing. They're at one of those 2 locations. They're trying to keep the waiting room as limited as possible, and they take care of you. So you can find out more, including reading their entire COVID strategy as this thing moves forward. You can do that at sogms.com/COVID-19 for details there. So again, Special Orthopedic Group, Oxford and Tupelo locations currently open.
Oh God.
What?
A Trump tweet. Where he is happy about. It's a Mitt Romney tweet. It's brought to you, not the tweet. The podcast is brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. They also have a commercial checking account, now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. They can set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group. They're dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. Bluff City values providing quality advice, experience, and access to all their clients. They invite an open dialogue beyond your annual review. They believe that everyone deserves financial security. No matter your level of wealth or financial goal, they will serve as an advocate and a guide to grow a portfolio that is fruitful and sustainable for you. Give them a call, 901-365-3447, or email Ben, that's BEN, at bluffcityadvisory.com.
What's the latest thing on the draft?
The NFL draft?
Yeah.
They're going to have it.
Without anybody there, just telecommunicate, whatever.
Yeah.
However you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Killed the Vegas thing. Of course, you can't do that.
I mean, yeah. But you still need to have it, so that makes sense.
Yeah, they're going to. The people who didn't get to have pro days are the ones that probably got most impacted. It might actually lead at the top of the draft to fewer mistakes. The bottom of the draft now is a crapshoot more than usual because you didn't have pro days to work guys out. You don't really know what those guys do. So agents are trying to scramble and put a pro day together, if you will, videoed with numbers that are reliable that they can pass along, and then the teams have to decide do they trust that or not. So it'll be different. Everything's going to be different for a while.
Well, think you're going to get through all episodes of this Tiger King?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
think stick
so.
with it?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. Got nothing better to do.
You've caught up on the Reese Witherspoon show?
Yeah. Well, that comes back on tonight.
Okay.
It's bizarre, but it's pretty good. Entertaining. I'm going to start Schitt's Creek.
Okay. You watch Fletch yet? Can we do that show?
I've got it up to watch it. I haven't watched it.
Okay. Waiting on some guests. I've got several people I think is going to do it here soon. Just trying to work out dates and times and
David Brandt's going to join us soon.
Okay. Saw that.
We'll talk to David about
trying to work out a time with Jordan Tamu.
Yeah. Jordan responded. We're trying to work out a schedule.
People are free but occupied right now is kind of how I'd put it. Like everybody's kind of around, and it's even if everybody's home, you got to figure out how to be quiet. It's a little bit of a deal here, even though our situation's far different than we were expecting at this time. But I'm gonna look for this real quick. This is from Nate Silver yesterday. Let's see. Let me find it. See the entrepreneurs in Portland that are doing a topless delivery?
No.
Have you not seen this?
No.
I'll give you an update on that in a second. First, this is from Nate Silver. This is yesterday. It says a week ago, New York State had 87 detective coronavirus cases per 1 million citizens. So 87 per 1 million.
Okay.
Here's where southern states are today, this being yesterday, in the number of, quote, detected cases. Again, test, who knows,
Right.
we're still guessing. Louisiana is what the frightening one, 298 per 1 million. So 3 times what New York was at that time almost. Mississippi, 107 per 1 million. Tennessee, 98 per 1 million. Georgia, 98 per 1 million. I think I saw somewhere where Alabama was at like 43 or something like that.
Yeah, they've not really had a breakout.
Best I can tell.
New Orleans is pretty scary if you listen to people.
Yeah, there's some rough stuff there, best I can tell. So, all right, I'll read this here. This is from Rolling Stone. The headline, with clubs closed for COVID-19. I don't know why I keep trying to spell it out. Strippers in Portland, Oregon take to topless food delivery. Now that dancers are out of work, one club in Portland, Oregon figured out a solution. Here, make sure this is not playing in your ear. I don't think it is. There's an ad on my screen. All right. With fears of the COVID-19 pandemic first started circulating, Brody Grody, a stripper in Portland, Oregon, saw her income dwindle to about half of what it usually was. Quote, people were scared. They were going out less. They were buying fewer lap dances, sitting at the stage less because they were worried about getting too close to us. Then when Governor Kate Brown announced last week
hard to do a lap dance from 6 feet.
Restaurants and bars in Oregon, maybe just do hazmat suits, hand sanitizer everywhere. Grody's already dwindling income was wiped out completely, she says. We really need to step it up and start hustling, quote unquote. The boss, Lucky Devil Lounge owner Sean Bolden, stumbled upon a solution following Brown's edict. Bolden tweeted that either the restaurant strip club would have to close, they were working on how to keep their employees working, and he joked that he would provide a service where the dancers would deliver food topless. When customers started asking him if he delivered to their area, he was like, holy, this may be something that actually works. From this tweet, Boober Eats was born. Yes, I said Boober Eats.
Okay.
For a $30 delivery fee, a sum split between the club employees, customers can order a burger and fries, salad, steak, variety of dishes. I mean, maybe even that prime rib buffet they have at 10 a.m. to their homes, where 2 dancers will show up accompanied by a driver security guard equipped with masks, gloves, and hand sanitizers. The dancers deliver food to the customer's doorstep within the 6 feet guidelines established by the CDC. Although the initial plan was to have them deliver topless, at a certain point we decided we probably shouldn't be sending topless girls to random people's houses. So we're doing it a little more PC. The toned-down version, clad in nipple pasties, the women walk up to a customer's door, leave the food on the doorstep, then take off their sweaters and, quote, bounce around. Though what that looks like depends on the skill set of the dancer. Grody, for instance, says she can flex breast one at a time. You can read the rest of the story there at rollingstone.com, but there's the gist of it.
American entrepreneurism.
Well, like you said, time to get hustling.
Well, the pasties make it tasteful.
Had I said it was an Onion article, you wouldn't have argued with me.
No, I would have thought you were making it up.
I think it's real. I mean, unless there's something at the bottom that goes, hey, guys, we're just kidding, but I didn't get to the bottom, but I don't think so.
How lonely you got to be to make that call.
$30
for somebody to come take their sweater off at a distance with a security guard making sure you don't. Come on. I mean, I get you can have a bad moment. Things can get rough.
Grody says that thankfully, for the most part, customers have maintained a safe distance, with the exception of one intoxicated female customer who tried to give her a hug.
Oh.
I'm assuming the blood alcohol content levels of their customers are quite high when these calls are made.
Yeah, it got to be right.
I don't think the normal guy at 11 a.m. is going, you know what?
I tell you what.
Gonna pay $30 for this $8 burger that has been sitting on a buffet in a strip club.
That's been frozen twice.
You don't know that. USDA Prime. Mariota giving a quote on Raiders starter, quote, "This is Derek's team." Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus. Good. That's
not why they signed you, pal.
Yeah. That's
I bet Cam Newton can't find a home.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston can't find a home.
Which one would you rather have?
Ooh.
Cam.
Really?
I'll take an age Cam. I don't think Winston's ever going to be consistent and efficient enough to be productive at the level that we're talking about. Maybe Cam's not either, but at least give me the guy who has done it at a better level for a period of time.
Yeah.
And work his way around it.
I think you're probably right.
I think that's what I would do. So, Covered a lot on today's Potato Log podcast. We appreciate everybody in the live stream. A lot of content there this morning. So appreciate all you guys. We'll be back tomorrow with another show. We'll talk about something. I don't know. We'll figure it out day to day. Try to bring some normalcy to your life. And again, tell people, tell a friend, listen, download, subscribe, all that good stuff. So appreciate it, and we will talk to you then.